This is James M. Halliday. I'm the creator of the Oasis, which is what you're listening to right now. Even as we speak, my voice is reaching millions around the world. Just like in the movie, The Great Dictator, the movie that satirized Adolf Hitler before anyone knew who Adolf Hitler was. Look it up. It's on Wikipedia. Okay? Wikipedia is the greatest resource that humanity has ever created. Okay? Now, I'm going to explain Wikipedia while I eat a chicken sandwich. I hope you enjoy. Alright. So. Okay, here's a chip. Oh, it's soggy. Okay. Oh, sorry. Put you back in the pocket. You will be safe in pocket. You will be my little mouse. My little mouse legs do it little. Okay. Okay.
Welcome to SciShow Space News. Let's start by clearing up the gossip around an important discovery that was made last week. You might have heard that the Kepler Space Telescope captured evidence of an Earth-like exoplanet 500 light-years away. Well, Kepler did find something really important out there, but it was an Earth-sized planet, which is an important distinction, and still exciting news. The planet, named Kepler 186f, has a radius just 1.1 times the size of Earth's. And that's a big deal, because until now, we've had a hard time spotting exoplanets of this size. Using a technique called the transit method, Kepler watched for the minute dimming that happens when a planet passes between us and its star, blocking out a tiny bit of its light. The smaller the planet, the less light it blocks, and the harder the dimming is to catch. That's why most of the planets we've seen have been at least 40 times larger than Earth. But the discovery of Kepler 186f is heartening evidence that Earth-sized exoplanets are out there. The reason this world has been described as Earth-like is just because being around the same size as Earth means it's likely to have some similar characteristics. For example, because of its size, astronomers think 186f might have gravitation similar to Earth's. And they also say there's a very excellent chance that it has a rocky surface. And it also may have water. Like Earth, 186f is in the so-called habitable zone of its star, meaning it's just the right distance from its star that water could exist there in a liquid state. But that's not to say we know there's water there, let alone that it's liquid. As we've talked about before, our own solar system proves that the habitable zone is just a vague indicator about the possibility of water. Venus, for instance, is in the sun's habitable zone, but its atmosphere is too hot for liquid water, while on Mars, a weak magnetic field has allowed solar activity to strip away the atmosphere, making it too cold for liquid water. Besides, Kepler 186f is different from Earth in one very important way. Its star is different. Kepler 186 is a red dwarf, which means it's much older than our sun. On one hand, that could be promising because it means life would have had a much longer time to develop in its system. But on the other hand, it's much smaller and cooler than our sun. So Kepler 186f probably only gets about 30% as much energy from it as we get from the sun. And speaking of the sun, if you're in Eastern Australia, off the east coast of South Africa, or in Antarctica for some reason, you may get to see an annular solar eclipse on Monday. That means that for about half an hour, the moon will pass directly between the Earth and the sun, and the moon's apparent diameter will be smaller than the sun's. So when perfectly aligned, the moon will block out all but a thin outer ring, or annulus, of the sun. This ring will be visible beginning around 5:48 Coordinated Universal Time. That'd be 3:48 p.m. in Melbourne and Sydney, although the point of greatest eclipse will only be visible from Antarctica. So you should probably just go there. The next annular eclipse won't occur until September 2016, so try to catch this one while you can. But remember, looking directly at the sun will cause eye damage, so don't try and observe the eclipse directly. And finally, here's something you can marvel at safely. This awesome image captured by the Hubble Space Telescope. Using an exposure about 14 hours long, the image allows us to see features about 1 billion times fainter than we can see with the unaided eye. And it also happens to capture a particularly excellent example of gravitational lensing, which lets us see distant things that are otherwise hidden behind massive objects. See, massive galaxies in our line of sight have enough gravity to bend light around them, in the process magnifying objects behind them much like a glass lens does. In this image, a cluster of galaxies that looks like a small loop in the middle is magnifying the light of a quasar as it's falling into a black hole. And this image is 9 billion light years away, meaning gravitational lensing has allowed us to see back in time through 2/3 the age of the universe. Even the galaxies we're using as lenses are really distant. NASA says most of the objects you see here are 5 billion light years away. I hope that satisfies your curiosities for the week. Thanks for watching SciShow Space News, especially to our Subbable subscribers. If you want more SciShow for your very own, check out subbable.com/SciShow to learn how you can get your own SciShow DVD with an extra behind-the-scenes featurette I put together for you. Little known fact, I produce SciShow and SciShow Space, so I read and take to heart all your comments. So please, tell me on Facebook, Twitter, or in the comments below if you have questions or ideas for an episode you'd like to see. You will always be heard, but I'll probably never wear more makeup. Thank you again for watching, and if you want to continue getting smarter with us and engage in meaningful scientific conversations, go to youtube.com/SciShowSpace and subscribe.
This episode is sponsored by Ren.
This episode is sponsored by Audible. To get started, go to audible.com/SciShowSpace or text SciShowSpace to 500-500. If you've ever looked up at the night sky, you've probably noticed the constellation of Orion the Hunter, whose one shoulder is marked by
Good morning, John. It's Monday, January 15th, and I'm sitting in front of the new Brotherhood 2.0 website, which you can find at brotherhood2.com. I'd appreciate any suggestions or comments. The podcast isn't quite working, but we'll get there. Well, I'm feeling better. I'm not feeling great. Now I've got this voice. It's like not so much of a voice, it's just little popping noises. One of the advantages is that I'm kind of a baritone now. I guess I'm usually a baritone, but maybe I'm a bass. Maybe I'm a bass now. Do not forsake me, though you know I must bend. So I went to Barnes & Noble yesterday. I had to walk up to the lady at the desk because I didn't know where they would keep this book. And I had to say, I'm looking for a book. It's called We Wish to Inform You that tomorrow we will be killed with our families. And she said, that's catchy. So I brought the book home, and then something interesting happened. So yeah, it didn't happen. I'm not saying that the Brotherhood 2.0 book club is not a good idea. I'm just saying that right now, I'm going to have to avoid your genocide book for a little while. And when I say a little while, I mean like less than a week. So I'll probably start it for Brotherhood 2.0 Friday. Brotherhood 2.0 agreement moment. That's right. John and I agreed on something. I think it's a great idea for us to do our happy dances for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That sounds like a perfect Brotherhood 2.0 project idea. I don't have Daniel Biss, but I do have this, which the University of Montana gave me for all of my hard work. 3.5 minutes times 60 seconds in a minute divided by 5 seconds per clip is 42. Now, there are several amazing things about this idea. First is that you got the math really very wrong. The second remarkable thing about this idea is that Daniel Biss commented within like 3 seconds of you posting the video and told you that you were wrong. It must be very convenient to have your own personal mathematician. I gotta get me one of those. Last and most remarkable about this idea is that we now know the question. What are you talking about? Oh, sorry. Well, the answer to the question of life, the universe, and everything is 42, right? So the question must be, how many Happy Dance clips does it take to fill up a Brotherhood 2.0 segment? We really are doing some amazing things here. I've been very impressed by the number and quality of misprinted business card utilization ideas. Thank you very much. I will be discussing those and other sundries on Wednesday. John, I'll see you tomorrow.
Good morning, Hank. It's Friday, March 14th. You might be wondering why I'm wearing these beads. It's because I'm in Mobile, Alabama, and I happen to walk past a parade. Hank, I've been to Mobile, Alabama 3 times in my life, and all 3 times they've been having a parade. Hank, I'm forced to conclude that either the people of Mobile, Alabama get really excited whenever I come to town, or else they have a parade every day. By the way, I wonder where all these great beads came from. Oh, yeah. Probably from those shipping containers. So, Hank, the reason I'm in Mobile is that Sarah's curating a show that's opening here called Among the Ruins, and it's great. It includes all these contemporary artists from all over the world, like this Japanese artist who now lives in Queens, who covered an entire house in the lower 9th Ward of New Orleans 2 years after the storm with latex and cheesecloth, and then peeled it off, so we have this, like, ghostly remnant of the house. Or this Chinese artist who cuts his profile out of demolished buildings in Beijing. Or these guys in Detroit who go to abandoned buildings and paint them orange. Hank, my favorite thing about that project in Detroit is that the color they used to paint the houses orange is a Disney color called Tiggerific Orange. It's Tiggerific. God, I love ruins. They're the rainbows of the future. Hank, as much as I know you love the Yeti, I know it's probably not going to be possible for you to come and see this show in Mobile. But maybe some nerd fighters who live in Mobile will have a chance to see it. Link in the sidebar. The other thing I absolutely have to discuss today is the Nerd Fighter Blurbing Book Club. Blurb, blurb, blurb. Blurb! That's right, Hank, it's time to announce the winner of the first ever Nerd Fighter Blurbing Book Club. Can I have a drum roll, please? No? No, drum rolls are copyrighted? Okay, no drum roll. The winner is Marvelous 10. There's hell in this nonstop teen jubilee, which amazingly enough is an anagram of Maureen Johnson's 13 Little Blue Envelopes. So the nerd fighter behind that blurb will be receiving special prizes, although Hank, I couldn't quite find out who exactly that nerd fighter was, so hopefully you know. Hank, I also have another announcement to make, which is that I have decided without consulting you to declare a second winner in the Nerd Fighting Blurbing Book Club. That winner was the runner-up in the vote whose blurb was, I'm in your Europes, grieving my aunt, kissing your dudes. In fact, Hank, I like that law book blurb so much that I think I'm going to declare that from now on the Nerdfighter Blurbing Book Club will have 2 contests. One, a regular blurbing contest, and one, a law book contest. So for instance, if we were reading Moby Dick together, and by the way, I promise you, we will never have to read Moby Dick together. The winner might be, I'm in your oceans, Pone in your whales. Or if we were reading Hamlet, it might be like, I'm in your Denmarks, feeling your Ophelias, failing to make decisions. So beginning with the current book Slaughterhouse-5, there will be 2